Okay, how y'all doing? What's up, everybody? This is my channel. You too can be great. I have, a treat for all you guys because I'm gonna do 3 videos back to back. I'm gonna be doing this Love and Hip Hop Reunion Season 2 Episode 1 review because I missed it, and I'm also gonna be doing Portia's Family Matters review, and I'm also gonna be doing Salt Lake City. Now, I'm moving a little bit slower because I now have to use a walker to get myself around. I can't sit on the floor like I used to. I'm up here because I think this is a better situation for my back. So I get to sit up. I finally figured out how to kind of rearrange that. So bear with me if I post my videos a little bit later because I'm limping right now because the baby's making his way down my birth canal and it's affecting a little bit of just some stuff in my life. So if I'm out of breath, forgive me, but let's get into it. So we start off with episode 1, and Mimi has finally landed herself a role that doesn't include her wanting Stevie, chasing Stevie, Jocelyn stealing her man and calling her Miss Maid, talking about how Stevie loves her and how she wants to marry him and how they're faking a marriage, and a storyline outside of the shower rod. Okay, she has now officially gotten a hosting title, which is the same title that Yandy was given in the first season for season 1 Family Reunion. Okay, so Mimi's gonna be sitting up here hosting this shit, and while she's hosting it, she has now sought the help of Brooke. Y'all remember Brooke, who spent an entire 2 seasons chasing Marcus's ass, and the first season she was up there, Boobie was there, Keisha Cole was there, and Brooke at some point, I guess, was trying to go back and forth because she had some emotional stuff with Boobie, and then she was trying to decide whether she was gonna go with Marcus, but we knew that she loved Marcus, but then she gave Marcus a pass to go and fuck everybody and whatnot, and it was just a whole hot ass fucking mess. But she's here helping to host this whole situation. And then they also asked Jonathan, who pried his ass out of the Botox office for this check. Because Jonathan, got some work done. Jonathan is a very handsome man, but he got some work done and he pried himself away from his work so he can come here and support Mimi and support all this reunion stuff that's going on. I said, cool, okay? So the people that they invited for this reunion, we got Yo-Yo and Safari's ass, which Safari I'm not really too keen on seeing because of all the behavior that he exhibited while Mena was pregnant on the show. It was just so pathetic watching his ass. I understand that they do these shows and you're supposed to be be looking at them like, okay, these are just for entertainment. It's not, it's reality TV, it's just some dumb shit. But Safari's behavior, there's some things that I just don't think is reality TV. I genuinely think that he was just a shitty person while Mena was pregnant and going through all the emotional stuff that she was going through. It was so disappointing to watch. Hell, even his mama has something to say about it. But his ass is going to be here. We got Mena and Shkana that was also invited. We got the Creep Squad. If y'all don't remember, the Creep Squad included Peter Guns, Rich Dollaz, and Cisco. And Seth wanted to include his ass in that Creep Squad so bad, but he wasn't even honorary. He was never approved. He was never stamped. The Creep Squad is usually Peter, Rich, and Cisco. So they got invited. Jewels then pried himself out of jail or prison, wherever the hell he was at. He's gonna be there with Kimbella's little ass. I shouldn't even say little. That ass can feed a whole generation if y'all were starvation. But Kimbella's big ass is there too. Tara and Amina are also invited. If y'all remember Tara and Amina are affiliated with the show because of Peter Guns for the Entire World Penis. They spent 2-3 seasons looking stupid. Both of them fighting over Peter's dick. Peter was supposed to be with Tara initially. They had 3 boys or 3 kids initially. I think they had 2 or 3 boys as kids. And Peter had made a pattern of cheating on Tara for years and years and years. And because she kept taking his ass back, he decided that he was not only going to cheat on her with Amina, but he married this girl. And Amina obviously sat up there, acted delusional, like she didn't know that Peter was still fucking Tara when she married him. She had to sit there, even in marriage boot camp, spew this dumbass shit like, Peter told me that he was just at the house to co-parent. I said, bitch, I believe that. Peter is not at the house co-parenting with a woman he had kids with in the same house. He's fucking her. But Amina's dumbass believed that. And then Amina ended up getting pregnant. She brought that out with Monique at the reunion hosting it. She said it. Peter was still trying to get Tara back, but Tara was still trying to pretend like she didn't love him. Season 2, Tara was still fucking him. She got pregnant. Amina then got pregnant. had an abortion thinking that's what Peter wanted. But then Amina found out that Tyra was pregnant and deliberately got pregnant too. So they were both pregnant at the reunion, looking dumb as hell after she just had an abortion, got pregnant again. And then while Tyra had a son, Amina's out here popping out his daughters. And then the next reunion or the next season that came after that, Peter now poured his heart out to Tyra, making Amina look so dumb. And she was still fucking him. So it was just some dumb stuff between these two. But now they're here talking about they've been able to get along. They're now co-parenting better. And I guarantee you they're still sharing Peter's old ass for the freaking streets dick. Then we have Bobby Lights coming up here, just like Jonathan, prying himself off the freaking Botox board and the injections board to come up here and show himself too, because he got beef with somebody in this cast. We got Zale coming in, Booby Fine Ass coming in, and Sin Santana coming in. So these are all the people that are going to be here for this reunion. It's a lot more than they invited in the first season, but here they are. There are, Mimi suggested that they all come wearing all white to this beach meeting up party in San Diego because it's supposed to be like a clean slate. The white symbolizes that we're all going to just get along. We're going to try to squash things. We're going to make peace with everything because we have so much stuff going on this world. But they're showing up, and then Jonathan lets Mimi know that he invited Stevie J. Now, y'all know that Stevie is still having to go to this situation where he was harassing face little gangsta ass in the bed. And he had the nerve to go online and cry wolf, talking about, I can't believe she brought a man in our bed and cheat on me. Stevie, you need to shut the fuck up, because it's like glass houses speaking. Because what we saw you do to Mimi and Jocelyn, Faith is your karma. You remember what she did to Biggie? You better not play with her. She's a straight up gangster. And this motherfucker had the nerve after 2 years of marriage to ask for alimony. Stevie, if nothing else, is a class act. And they let Mimi know that Stevie was invited, and Mimi goes on the confessionals and lets us know that there is still an issue with Stevie being a parent to Eva, because Stevie makes a lot of promises he doesn't keep. We have since found out that the child support money started coming in once Faith got into the picture. Prior to that, Stevie wasn't playing child support. He wasn't showing up. He was fucking people, making babies, with Jocelyn and shit like that, either aborting them or having them, but he wasn't actually present to take care of them. And we also know that he had other children prior to Mimi and prior to Jocelyn. And Jocelyn has since gone online and said that basically Ballistic is the one raising Bonnie Bella right now, and Stevie don't do shit for her either. So bringing Stevie here to smile in our faces, the little rat face thing that he does because he thinks he's charming and he thinks he's still cute on this show, Mimi's like, I'm just going to ignore his ass like I've been doing for a long time because he ain't going to keep his word. So we have Sin and Marcus show up. Marcus is kissing his wifey now, Brooke. And Sin comes up. She comes up single because her and Joey are not together. She's also focusing on their son and raising them. Sin looks great for somebody who had a baby. She's got trimmed down. She got a beautiful ass. Sin has always been a gorgeous person to me. I just don't like the fact that comment that she made saying that black men prefer Hispanic women because they know how to treat their men better, or some shit along those lines that she said. I said, bitch, I don't know what the hell makes you think that you were better than African-American women, because it seems like everybody got some shit to say about some black women all the time until they need us for support. So you need to stay in your fucking lane. Just because you like black dick don't mean you know what the fuck our struggles are. So shut up. Go let Joe sit on your face, or, deep throat you, whatever the hell is. And after he's done using your ass like he did, he's going to leave your ass, whether you were Hispanic or black girl. You're going to get treated the same fucking way like the rest of us. So don't think you special. Now, we got Peter Guns and Richie D showing up to redeem themselves. Richie is now older. We all know that he was fighting diabetes in the last time that we saw him. But the last season that we saw him prior, I think he was fucking Mariah Lynn. They were trying to date Mariah, had some work done. And I remember that Mariah had used the N-word when she was trying to defend herself. And I had a problem with that just because Mariah is still white. But that was my last memory of Richie, is him dating Mariah Lynn. But Peter Guns and Richie show up. Bobby and Zale show up along with Shekinah. Shekinah has lost a lot of weight too. She got her body done. Shekinah, to me, she's funny as hell. But I almost want to know, Shekinah, what we do, you're going to give us some information about what happened with T.I. and Tiny, because you're going to sit up here and, talk about everybody else. We don't get to know about your backyard. But then we have Yo-Yo and Boobies, Boobies show up, and all I can think of is Boobies is very, very handsome, but for me, he's only handsome enough for one night. He's a good person to have for a one-night stand. I do not know if Booby is good for long-term relationships. From what I saw with what he experienced with Keisha Cole and the situation where he had a girlfriend after Keisha Cole, that didn't last. And on top of that, he has a way of charming young, beautiful girls. But to keep those girls for a long time, it doesn't seem to work for him. So I think he's a good person to fuck, but I don't know if he's good to just, be with forever. But that's just my take on it. I don't know the man personally, but he is fine. Now we have Cisco's bald-headed fine ass, whose scalp I always want to lick, show up alone without the rest of the creep squad with him, because Dollaz and Peter showed up together. Cisco shows up like a lonely person that's just somewhere off on the island booted up, and he lets us know that because of the drama he had the last time we saw him Love and Hip Hop, where Rich was being petty and disclosed to Peter that there was a time when Amina came to town and Cisco let Amina stay in his house. Cisco has since made it clear that he wasn't fucking Amina. He just wanted to be a nice person. But the fact that he kept it from Peter made it seem like he was doing something shady, like he wasn't supposed to do. And of course, Peter retaliated by being just as petty and acting like two freaking childish kids, saying that, well, what if I called your baby mama and because I can do that until I come spend the night with me. Cisco physically attacked Peter because of that nonsense. Don't play with me and that shit. And then there's also a fight that they had in a ring where they were supposed to squash things, where Cisco's ass fucked up Peter because Peter lost and Cisco won that fight, whooping his ass. And that's also a bitter thing because Peter obviously don't want to be looking like Cisco fucked me up on stage in front of everybody. So that was also a bone of contention. So Cisco says he's pissed off by Mena and he's pissed about me whooping his ass. So he is just bitter all around. Then we have Jewels and Kimbella showing up, and Jewels lets us know that he spent 19 months and then some change in the pen. I'm like, you know what? All these time that they're giving black people, like they're giving us presents, but you got people murdering people in the streets and getting away scot-free, and you got judges running their mouth and using racist shit and only getting leave. But when it comes to black people, we get the harshest sentences. Y'all give us prison sentences like y'all giving us candy. You get a sentence, you get a sentence. Woo, we're all getting a visit from the booty warrior tonight. Like, what are you doing? So Jewels tells us about it and tells us this is how much he spent behind bars. He came back, he's so happy with his family. We all know that he, knocked Kimbella up recently. His baby's 2 years old, they're doing great. They're there together and he doesn't want no mess. Good for him. Erica Mena shows up, and all I'm thinking is Sin is already feeling some type of way with Erica's presence because of some issues that they've had recently. We know that on the show there was some drama with Erica trying to supposedly hook up Tahiri with Joe again, which we knew that wasn't the case. That was just some flirtatious bullshit for the cameras or whatever. But there was also that issue at the time where Sin was still trying to figure out her family and if Joe and her were going to try to fix things, especially when the baby was, in play. Then there was also the issue where Erica was accused of trolling Sin online via Instagram. That was another bone of contention. But in addition to that, Erica seems to have a good number of her exes up on this island. Safari was invited, but he ain't here yet. We got Rich on this island. We got Sin on this island, and Erica is fine. So, she might pick up another ex up on this beach too. And Mimi has since traded sides. So Erica might go for her too. And Mimi's beautiful, I'm not going to lie. So we don't know what's going to happen. But Erica's here and she's still married to Safari, still waiting for the divorce to go through. At the same time, the pain is still there for her. So she's also trying to go through that as well. Then the beach party kicks off. While they're enjoying themselves, Zell is over there telling Shekinah that he wants the girl because he still likes vagina. And Shekinah's looking like I'm looking. Zell, you are gay. And Zell says, but I still like the puss because I know that in previous seasons, he said that he wanted to be with a woman too because he's bisexual and because he wanted to have kids of his own and a family. At the same time, I don't know. I think I'm more on Shekinah's side. And Shekinah says she knows a lot more than Zell than I do because they've been friends for a very long time. So if she says she feels like he's just straight up gay, then I guess so. But if Zell's saying that he's not and he also still likes women and that's what he would like to be is somebody's boyfriend for real, then God bless him. Hopefully somebody comes in and makes him happy. Then we got Brooke and Mena talking off to the side. And Mena is expressing all the stuff that she went through and she's going through emotionally now that Brooke is telling her that Safari will be here. Erica seems to be in shock. Like, I don't want to keep facing the reality of the person who's breaking my heart constantly every time he opens his mouth. Because Safari shows up every time in every situation. He wants to party straight. He wants to do all this fun shit. And he neglects the fact that he is causing a lot of pain to somebody that he was supposed to love. So Erica's like, I don't want to be up here sitting in front of this man and him pretending like everything's cool. He's having a good life when I'm over here heartbroken, still trying to figure out how I'm going to be able to pick up my life and be a single mom to 2 kids. You know, so she's like, you know what, I have to sit here and face it. But Brooke is like, I want you guys to kind of get to a good place. So that's why we invited him. Then we got Booby making a beeline for Sin. I said, Sin, run, because being with Booby is a sin. Okay, because Booby is very charming, very beautiful, knows all the right things to say. But Sin, girl, after you didn't deal with Joe, you need to go ahead and pick a different type of person, because Booby ain't it. Then we have Shekinah, who's over there watching this creep squad argue about who won that fight that happened, who knows, way back when, that nobody give a fuck about anymore. And you got Peter talking about, you know, you need to bring the belt back and stuff like that. Like, just petty ass shit. When you're watching 2 old ass men that have known each other since they came on the show for 7+ years, arguing over this, just the childish things, it's pathetic to watch. So she kind of, in addition to getting irritated with them like I was, is also irritated at the fact that she don't like ain't shit men that just fuck around and cheat on women and act like they're just a piece of trash. And she's looking straight at Peter Guns, who she knows for a fact 2 of his baby moms he got pregnant at the same time are all on the same island as her. So they go to say hi to Shekinah. Cisco and I'm going to say hi to Shekinah. Shekinah already goes straight for Peter, the same way that Cardi B went for Peter and basically told the truth. I don't like that you out here getting them pregnant. I don't like the fact that you behave that way. And of course, you know, everything that Shekinah is saying is absolutely true, but is it her business in the decisions that Tara and Amina choose to do if they want to keep fucking with Peter? No, they already have the kids. The kids are here. You can't, you know, give him back to sender. You know, it is what it is. But Peter starts disrespecting her, of course, because he's on the defense. The thing that tripped me out is Tara's dumbasses in the corner talking about, you know, I'm on the defense because Peter is part of my family. Girl, he is not part of your family. He nutted inside you several times and gave you several babies, and then left you and nutted in somebody else and gave that girl several babies. I would never consider Peter Guns to be a part of my family. I would consider him being a part of my kids' family in a cool parenting type situation. Ain't no way in hell I would ever tolerate somebody doing all the shit that Peter Guns had put Tara through and have the nerve to call you my family. Family don't do that to somebody. Okay, and this is the reason why I feel like Tara and Amira got bamboozled to the extent that they did, because they just say some dumb shit. Would I be sitting up there defending Peter or even worried about him and somebody talking shit to him and telling him the truth when he did what he did? What she kind of saying is not false. Okay, what Cardi B said is not false, and Peter is too old, and I guarantee he's still doing the same shit. So I mean, hell, let them go ahead and scold him. It's not you. It's not your place to defend him, because he didn't defend you when it came time for it. He allowed you to look like a fool on national television. Then we have Shekinah in the corner flipping him off, and him telling her, you know, go fuck yourself, whatever. Peter's just disrespecting her, obviously, whatever. Then we got Rich going over to hit on Erica. Now they got a few drinks in his system. And he's telling her, you never stop loving me. I know you still love me. And Erica's like, you the one that never stopped loving me. The thing about Peter and Erica that's funny about the situation is, I know they have some good sex, because they said in previous seasons that, you know, the booty was fine. I mean, the booty was good. One of the things that Rich and Erica Mena knew how to do well is fuck each other. They did a good job doing that. And from all the girls that throw themselves rich, I'm thinking maybe he knows what he does in the bedroom. He knows what to do. And Erica Mena was able to keep up with him. So the thing about it is, I remember when Mena was going to marry Safari and they were on a good note. Safari came up in the reunion and Rich tried to portray it as if Erica Mena is a hoe, talking about she's been with X plus men. And it got to the point to where Safari was like, don't be disrespectful, because he was still in love with her, defending her. And Rich did that slow motion, let me try to hop over the table with this old ass legs of mine, trying to look like I'm doing something when I'm not. Okay, going after somebody that everybody feels like Safari would never actually fight. So let's go after him, because Cisco already told Rich that he will fuck him up. And Rich didn't jump over the table like he did towards Safari. They look at Safari as the punk. We had A1 jump over the table trying to attack Safari, and Ray outside telling Safari, yup, A1 was finna beat your ass. So they look at Safari as a person who doesn't fight. So Rich was going to try to attack Safari when Safari was trying to defend Erica Mena's honor. And Rich trying to, basically insinuate that she's a hoe. But here we are now that Rich knows that Safari and Erica Mena are on the fence. This girl is still legally married, but Rich don't care. He's a creep. And he wants some of that ass. He wants to go there and get a taste of that ass. And Erica Mena is still beautiful. She bounced right back after her baby. So here's Rich, drunk as hell, talking about, you still love me. And Erica keeping her hands to herself and enjoying that there's still somebody out there that's still attracted to her. But bitch, you shouldn't be happy that it's Rich. I mean, somebody else, yes, but Rich coming and hitting on you is not a prize. But, it is what it is. So we got Joelle's, who they put on here to perform. And so far, everybody seems to be enjoying themselves and enjoying their time bonding and getting to know each other again. However, after the beach party, they're now heading towards the hotel. Bowie makes sure to shove Sin inside his golf cart to make sure he's the one that drives her back. But every time he's flirting with her, I just get these hives. And I also see something with Sin's behavior when she's talking to black men. It might not be just me. Sin tends to modify herself based on who she's speaking with. She got like extra hood when she's talking to Boobie. I don't know if she thinks that makes her look more appealing. She's a Hispanic woman and she has her roots there. But when she's talking to Boobie and, trying to flirt with him, she turns into this I don't give a fuck type behavior. And I could be wrong, but let me know if y'all see the same thing. But while she's talking to Booty, she said, I got issues. And Booty's like, okay, well, where are you mentally? Are you willing to have a relationship? Like, where are you at? And they get back to the room and Sin brings up Erica trolling her online. So far, Erica has not had Sin on her mind, Rich on her mind, Bobby on her mind, nobody on her mind except Safari, because that's who she's fathered her children with, her recent children with. Now, Sin seems to be the one that is pressed about whatever the fuck Erica is doing. Sin tells us the story about how Erica I think it was an Instagram page or some shit. And she was trolling Sin, making some comments, whatever. But when she was caught, apparently she just changed that page to her daughter's page. But all the comments and all the things that particular page had already liked and discussed still remain. That's the story that Sin says. But when you go over to Erica and you ask her, Erica said it's a bull-faced lie. I want to see some receipts because I didn't see that page, but I read the article that talked about that shit happening and Erica denied it from Kingdom Come. So Sin brings that up. And then after she's done talking about Erica, when Erica's not there, she now looks at Booby and said, I don't want to talk about my ex. Everybody wants me to go about my ex. So I don't give a fuck. I'm not talking to her. I'm just like, I can't. Anyway, she also friend zones Booby. And Boobie's like, this ain't gonna work, you friends on me. And he's trying to hug her, trying to touch on her ass. And he says, you know what, she friends on me right now, but the way that I flirt, she'll change her mind. And she probably will, because she already attracted to him. Then we have Mimi and Erica on their go to Shekinah's room to discuss Ain't Shit Men. And Erica's talking about how she's basically trying to escape her situation. And Shekinah's like, you can't escape. You got 3 of your exes up on this island. You can't go nowhere. And then they also bring up, Shekinah also asked Erica, hey, are you going to go and apologize to Sin for the whole Instagram thing? Erica said, fuck no, I'm not apologizing to her, bitch, because they ain't true. I love me some Shekinah. Shekinah said, yes, girl, you lying. It is true. As if Shekinah believes every word about that scenario. So she's trying to make sure that Erica either admits she did wrong or Erica apologizes, but Erica is denied. Hell, I would too, shit. Anyway, Rich and Peter are on the other end of the in their room, and Rich is discussing the situation with Cisco with Peter. And Peter, before that happened, is telling Rich that it made his day for him to see Rich and Mena. But Peter, your ass was the reason that Rich didn't want to claim Mena when they first started dating, and you the reason that they broke up. So now why are you happy years later when they're not together that Rich is talking to her? Like, I don't understand the train of thought there. It's confusing as fuck. But here we are, and Peter now starts scolding Cisco about Peter about Cisco, saying that it's weird for him to be coming here alone. It's not okay for them to be the way that they are, things to be the way it is. And Peter makes a comment saying that Cisco tends to bottle his emotion up. He doesn't like to talk about it if it's hurting. He doesn't like to tell people what's going on. And then what he does, but if he doesn't talk about it, he holds it in, and then he lashes out and does something stupid as hell. And it usually gets him in some serious trouble. And it's annoying having to have somebody who's like a little brother. They don't want to talk to you. And so that was Peter's issue with Cisco. But while Rich is going on his little dramatic rant, we have Jonathan under his room inviting Cisco to come and talk to him because Cisco's vibe seems so off. He was able to notice. And Cisco's talking to Jonathan, and he basically says that when he sees Rich and he sees Peter, he resents them because he's like, they have access to their kids anytime that they want, and perhaps they don't take advantage of that blessing. And he said, I don't have access to my kids. I haven't seen them in 6 months. And you could just see the hurt in Cisco's eyes. I can say something about Cisco. Cisco may be a creep. He may want to stick his penis in everything with the post, but he does love his children. And that's something that he said previously in the seasons that he's been on here. He's talked about his, I think there was some point where his baby mama came in when they were still in the beginning stages of breaking up. He's like, don't take my kids. You're not going nowhere with my kids. Cisco loves his kids. Like, they don't, a lot of what I find in society today, and I don't like it, is that there are laws that favor women when it comes to them having children. And those laws are almost set up in a way where the girl automatically gets custody of the kids and the guy has to now prove himself as being a decent father. And that's not right. I understand child support being in play, but there shouldn't be a reason to where the woman can sit there and make a decision that you don't get to see your kids until I'm ready. And that type of shit is petty as fuck, because like there's a meme going around saying that man may not want you, but he sure wants his kids. And just because he don't want you, you need to just don't be petty about it, because you don't think about the effects it has on the child. Jonathan on the receiving end is like, yo, I didn't have my father in my life, and that's something that I really wanted and I needed. You got a man here who would love to be in presence, have his children around. And there are a lot of women that complain that their men don't even want to come and show up and buy Pampers, let alone even come see their kids. Then you got the women whose men are actually fighting and having to, and you got some bitch, there was some comment I saw where some bitch was like, why didn't you fight harder for your kids? Why does he have to fight in the first place to see his kids? He shouldn't have to battle for that. That should be like the easiest thing in the world. Okay, it should be that. No man should have to fight to see the children that they made. That's stupid as hell. What sense does that make? Who does that hurt? If you consider yourself a good parent, you're now being a pathetic excuse for a parent, because you're now eliminating a part of that child's life that's supposed to influence them and who they become in the reality. Now, unless this man is not some abusive, crazy, thieving, whatever person, Cisco seems like he's going to be a decent father. He loves his kids. That love is there. So he'll always want to do the best for them. The fact that he hasn't seen his kids in 6 months, that's some crazy ass shit. And you can see it's hurting him. Okay. And it's probably some vindictive thing that's, I'm just guessing, but from what I've seen mostly that happens is some vindictive shit. He's crying about it because he's really hurt. And if you see Cisco, how he carries himself, Cisco carries himself like some dude that you'll see on, prison yard level 4 that'll be willing to stab your ass with a pick or something. So he's not trying to cry. That's what he portrays. But here he is, and he's just, the emotion is too overwhelming. He can't even stop himself from crying. Like 6 months is half a fucking year. How, I can't see my kids. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if my kids are okay. What if they're asking about me and I can't be there, or they seem to think that maybe I don't want them there, or maybe I don't want to see them, or maybe I don't love them. You don't know the psychological impact that, that has on your kids, in addition to you having your own psychological issues being separated from them. So I felt for Cisco in the scene. I felt so bad for him. And I was just like, there are a lot of things that I think Cisco deserves as far as mistreating women, but you don't take somebody's kids. I don't care what the situation is. You do not do that. Even crackheads will still protect their children. Crack involved or not, they will still protect their children. There's an innate, ingrained feeling that we have as parents, and that's for males and females, where you will still, no matter what happens, no matter if the sky is falling, you will always want your children. You may not want the bitch, you may not want him, but you still want your kids. So I kind of felt bad for him on that. But it did confirm what Peter says, that Cisco tends to hold things in and bottle it up and not express his pain. Because Jonathan said, yo, if you're feeling resentful, why don't you at least tell them that's what you're feeling, so they know what's going on? Because on their end, it's looking like you just don't have any emotions at all and you're just doing stupid shit. But how is Cisco going to go talk to them and confide in them when he doesn't trust them? You understand what I'm saying? So there's a little bit of barrier there. I hope they figure it out, before the end of the season. But that's what the situation is. So, but outside, we got them preparing for their game night by talking shit. So you got Bobby now aligning himself with Sin so they can whine about Erica. Bobby says some shit about how, he was there. He remembers when Erica's Instagram page or whatever page was trolling Sin and all the shit that Erica was saying. Then he lets Jonathan know that Erica had her friend whoop Bobby's ass at a party that was for Safari. And that the friend went online and posted something like, that's why you'll beat your ass. And Mena piped in on the comments saying, where do I need to send the money? As if it's a hit that she put out on him. Bobby, every time he's online, he's got beef with somebody. That is the pattern I've seen with Bobby Lights. He has beef with somebody all the time, and it seems to be always resonating with social media. That means you spend too much fucking time online. And every time that the beef occurs, Bobby is always the victim. So I'm like, damn, bruh, is everybody out to get you? So, well, this is how it's happening. You see Eric in the corner talking about, I know that they're going to sit up there and talk about me, but they're not going to say it to my face, which they're not doing. And you could just, it's hard to know that somebody's talking shit about you, but they're doing it right in your face. Jonathan is saying, yo, when I talk to Erica, I don't see the same person y'all talking about, because I see somebody who's doing better for herself and who's trying, which so do I. So why not discuss this with her instead of sit up here and talk shit? The girl has 2 kids and is going through a divorce. Do you think that you and Sin are her priority in life? Like, I don't know what's going to happen with Bobby and Sin and Erica, but if Bobby's on this island, and he's on his island. He just finished doing the conversation with Roland Ray. He had beef with him too. You know, then he had beef with, who else did he have beef with? If it wasn't, he had beef with Trina's assistant on the show. Then he had beef with his own boyfriend. And then he had beef with another dude that he says, you know, keeps looking at him weird because he's gay. I mean, it's just one issue after another. He always got beef with some damn body. And if he's not chasing Lil Nas ass, he's over here trying to figure out another way to be relevant. So Bobby has a way. As much as I like him, he's always in some shit. So, and it always has to do with something online. So that's what it is. Now, they did show what's going to happen as the season proceeds. And it seems like Brooke is going to admit to us that while she was preggers, that Marcus's ass cheated on her while she was pregnant, even though she's not parading the fact that they're still married. That was something that happened. You're going to have Erica, who's probably going to end up attacking Sin because all this shit that Sin is talking is not going to, you know, doing it in her face. You got Safari that's going to come here, and it seems like him and Cisco are going to have some beef, but Safari's going to show up all happy. Erica's going to be in pain. We don't know what's going to happen with Booby and Sin. I hope they don't commit sin by going, you know, being together. You don't know what's going to happen with Rich and Mena. Maybe Rich might not hit on Mena when Safari's there. Who knows? Maybe he just needs a few drinks. With Tara and Amina and Peter, we don't know what the circumstance is going to be. But we know that Stevie's ass is going to show up at some point and ignore the divorce he just filed with Faith to come up here and act a fucking fool. So this is just what the season's going to be about. See, episode 2 is supposed to do tonight, so I'm going to check that one out. But since I missed this one, I did this one for your entertainment, okay? Now I'm finna do Portia's Family Matters, because that was some shit too. And when I'm done, I'm going to do Salt Lake City. So go ahead and binge watch, boo. Go ahead and do it. Bye.